hello. It is Thursday, April 21st, 2016, and you are listening to episode 63 of The Unstable Portal. I'm Max Totally Futile Burzin, and I am joined, as always, by Joe Codermarsh and Martin Dustus Walters.
You almost forgot everyone, and then you especially almost forgot me.
Yeah, I was like, those guys.
It's almost like you haven't done this every week for the last year and a bit.
I know, it's just those guys, like, whatever, you know?
It's like, I don't know, they're not YouTube legends, I don't know their names anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have almost 1,500 subscribers on YouTube.
Yes, well done, Max. Actually, and you, like, not just that, I can't remember if we mentioned this last week, but the praise you're getting, well done, Max, we are all very proud.
You don't sound very proud. Say it better.
Sorry, I know it's very hard to inflect quotation mark bunny ear fingers with when no one can see you, so I was having to inflect it with my voice.
We're all quote unquote proud.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to say quote unquote. I just wanted to style it through. But yes, and like you got mentioned on Garrett from the Unstable Portal and. What's his
we
face
are the Unstable
instance?
Portal.
Oh, Unstable Portal. And the Angry Chicken.
That's
that other minor Hearthstone podcast.
Yeah.
On their Overwatch one, the guy from the instance as well, I forget his name.
Oh, Patrick Beja. Yeah,
that was
they
cool. Mentioned you like saying yours is the best Overwatch content out there, and they've seen a lot of Overwatch content. So well done, Max. We're very proud of you. Quote unquote.
Yeah,
I know. Like,
actually, awesome.
I actually am quite proud of him, but like, I don't want him to go to his head.
I'll try. I'll try to keep my feet firmly on the ground, but I ain't promising nothing. You know, that whole like $2.50 I've made from YouTube, I'm going to spend that on beluga caviar. I'll get like one fish egg. It'll be worth it. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Totally worth.
All right. Well, anyway, back to reality and Hearthstone. How have you guys been doing this week, Martin? How's that push to legend going?
Fuck this game. I've been playing a lot, like I was saying last week, when I've been doing my exercise and keeping it up. Beachbody's on its way.
Obviously.
But the problem is that, I don't know, like, it's the same thing happened last time. I played a lot at the end of last month, and like, I'm kind of burnt out, and it hasn't gone so well, and I don't want to play that same deck, and I'm kind of like, I want to play... You know what really annoys me is I keep on not making a deck on the computer. I sit down, I start doing exercise, and I'm like, oh, making a deck on a tablet's horrible. I don't want to do that. Oh, which one of these decks I want to play? I don't want to play any of them. I've been playing, I altered yesterday or the day before Aggro Shaman deck, and I've been playing a bit of that, and I've been quite enjoying that. I've just been doing quests. Been completing quests, and like, fuck it. Like, the thing's going to come out soon. We'll do that. Love it. We'll wait for new cards. Just get some more gold.
So we're postponing.
I'm about rank 10, maybe 11, something like that. Yeah, I'm on a win streak at the minute, and like, I'm going for it. But yeah, like, I'm putting. I don't want to burn myself out before the expansion comes as well. I don't know.
I don't think that's possible, is it?
Yeah,
like,
that's not going to happen. Like,
yeah, I suppose.
Like, all you've been saying for the last, like, sort of 15 minutes of we've been sorting everything out.
No one subscribed to Patreon. They didn't get to $100, so I'm not getting. I'm not getting to Legend. It's not $100. I didn't pay the money. They have to suffer and listen to me complain about not being Legend.
But I thought you weren't going to tell them if you got Legend. Or something.
No, that's for the people that don't want to get Legend. I won't tell them. So like, I don't know. It's confusing. It's a confusing circle of
bullshit.
Doom.
Bullshit. Let's just go a confusing circle of bullshit.
So that's the one.
Well, like, you're definitely not going to burn out, because all you've been saying for the last 15 minutes while we've been looking through all the cards that have just been announced on stream, like literally the stream with Ben Brode and Frodan, I don't know what the stream was called, but those guys, it was like literally about an hour before we started recording that finished. So Martin's just been looking through all the announced cards going like, oh my god, this card is awesome. Oh my god, this card is awesome. Oh my god, this card is awesome.
Yeah, it's so fresh, my fingers are burning. The heat is still on the buns. I don't care. I am putting that warm toffee in my mouth. I don't care if the roof of my mouth regrets it.
Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad for you. But yeah, you definitely don't sound like a man that is going to burn out. You're going to. Definitely. I'm going to forget. I've been trying to say it for like the last 5 minutes, and you keep talking over me. You just carry on. The moment's gone.
I was going to say that that was an analogy that only a fat man on a diet could make. Carry on.
I think we should just give up now. We're done. That's it. The show's over. Let's go home. I am home. Let's lay down and do something else. Joe, how's your Hearthstone week been?
Yeah, it was good. I played a few random things just for quests, but I was mostly playing Patron Warrior.
Oh yeah,
which is still awesome, and yeah, still really, really fun.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, that card's awesome, sorry.
You look at the cards.
Yeah, they're amazing. Sorry.
we'll get to them.
I just don't play Warrior that much. Like, I used to play Patron loads, but like I got Golden Warrior and then just never played Warrior again, because it's like, it feels like you're wasting like wins on other classes or something.
Oh right, yeah. As soon as you get your gold on, it's like, right, could be getting on the wins. Oh my god, what happens?
You should. I was thinking about it actually when I was playing Warrior. I was like, there should be prestige levels, and then you get like an even shinier border or something. Or I don't know.
I saw a very good idea. I mean, they were actually talking about you should get this when you get the levels up, but like I don't see why they haven't, or they couldn't implement, say, getting to 1,000 wins, there's a card back, shall we say. There's other things they could do. And like everyone's going to be like, oh, I don't give a crap about a card back. Okay, yeah. But then you say that, but then you're like, well, at least I feel like I'm working towards something. You don't really care.
I prefer better borders, though. Like, if your border got even cooler looking. Because like, it is kind of showing off that you've played your class. Like,
yeah, but you could, now that you can assign card backs to classes, you can like, oh, when I'm playing my warrior deck, I've got my cool warrior card back, and everyone's like, yeah, this guy's pretty baller.
Yeah, but I like what Joe's saying, the fact that your portrait can keep on upgrading and upgrading. I think that's quite cool. Like,
I like the concept, but I just don't know how much shinier can it get.
Well, a bit of filigree, a bit of pizzazz.
It could sparkle a bit.
Yeah,
you got Jaina doing the can. That's 1,500 wins.
Well, you can get that typical kind of like Roman wreath effect, can't you? But obviously gold.
I actually wouldn't like that. I don't like. I was just sitting there going, I dislike the extra amount of bling bling you have.
Your bling insults me. It's crass. Your bling is crass.
Exactly. It is crass. It is crass.
Fair enough. All right, I just want to go back to next week really quickly because Mike Burgess tweeted at us last week just to point out, and what he said was, I think you were missing the point on Khadgar. It was an Apple initiative, not a Blizzard one. They just got involved.
That's the new
the new mage portrait, the new mage portrait Khadgar, which last week we
didn't know why it was going on, but in our defense, none of us have Apple devices, and none of us knew that it was over a load of different apps on Apple, and it was an Apple thing. We didn't know this because none of us have Apple devices.
This is very true. But Mike was right to point it out. Like, actually,
definitely.
There was a reason why it was sort of a unique promotion, and it was part of a whole thing that Apple were doing with WWF. Nothing to do with Blizzard, apart from they threw their hat into the ring and said, "Hey guys, here's a portrait exclusive that might make you guys some money." And do you know what? Fair enough. I ain't got a problem with that. I think that's no problem at all. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Did it not come out on the PC later?
Oh
No, I think we spoke about this last week. I think no, it doesn't. It is an exclusive. As far as I know.
God. Okay, can we talk about what we're going to do on Monday? Because there's too many of these cards I don't want to skip today.
Okay, well, we might as well say it now since you've gone down that path. Yeah, since
we've got the nerfs as well.
I know, exactly. That's what we said. There's so much.
Right, since there's all the nerfs and all the cards and so much stuff to talk about, what we're going to do for you lucky people at home is you're going to get a bonus Unstable Portal podcast that we're going to record on Monday evening. So we'll probably record it around the same normal time that we do on a Thursday evening, but we will do it on Monday. So that's evening for us, which is currently GMT +1. We're on British summertime. It'll probably be out around 11 p.m. in that time zone. Which work out whatever that is for your time zones locally, but it's about the same time that it would normally come out on a Thursday. You'll be getting an extra one on Monday. Well, we'll carry on to talk about the cards. Then they'll all come out the next day and we'll be proved horribly wrong, and you can laugh at us on Twitter or whatever. It'll be good fun. But yeah, all right, let's move ourselves into some Hearthstone news. Right, in the news this week, it has been announced that we already...
Well, that was a letdown.
Yeah. I almost did it myself. I almost went dun 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 dun. Like something like that in between.
I'd love you to do that. I will actually get around to making some bumpers at one point.
Yeah, you've been busy with your Overwatch videos. We'll let you off. You've been really working hard.
We will do. All right. News. Bum, 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 bum. 3 free packs for logging into the Old Gods. Everybody already knew this. However, the news that we have got this week is that you will get 5 free packs for playing 2 games of Standard. Then after you've played those 2 games of Standard, if you play another 7 games of Standard, you will get 5 more free packs. So
my God!
So for logging in and playing 9 games, you will get 13 packs of the Old Gods.
And do you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to go, I don't know how this is going to work, but I bet if it takes up a quest slot, someone's going, this is taking up one of my quest slots. I could have some extra gold at the north.
Yes, it will take up one of your quest slots. It will be a quest that you get. That is how it's going to work.
I knew it. That's 60 gold I'm losing while that's there. Fuck it.
Well, you can always get rid of it, Just re-roll it from your quest.
There's even going to be even more hate. Someone's going to click it off by mistake. Be like, no.
I want my quest back. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to say about that. That's nothing but good. That's amazing. We're getting 13 packs for free.
Generous, isn't it?
Joe's sitting there on his mountain of gold. Just go, throw him on the pile, guys. Chuck him on the pile. I'll get out to them at some
put
point.
Me up to an even number of packs. Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's up to an even 1,000 packs to open. I'll get back to it a bit later.
Right, you'd have to stream that because that's a lot of packs. That's a lot of packs. All right, yeah, there's not much more to say on that. That's nothing but good news.
I actually didn't know the full thing, so I'm glad you told me that. That's really cool.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right, there was some interviews earlier on this week where we found out some interesting things, and that was grounding totem was going to be a thing, but was taken out before beta. For those of you that don't play World of Warcraft, what a grounding totem does is it absorbs a spell cast by an enemy. So essentially, shamans were possibly going to have spell taunt. I guess maybe it was part of their hero power. I'm not sure what the actual details on this were, but that would be a pretty cool card. But they decided to take it out. I mean, do you think it would have made a big difference to the game?
It could do. If it's one of their free totems, it's too good to be a free totem.
Yeah.
You're basically
it was like counterspell, you mean? Except on a totem.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess basically like counterspell. Like spell, I think more like Spellbreaker would probably be a better example, because I think it's a totem, so it'd be a minion, and then it would absorb the spell. So if they did cast a beneficial spell, then it would cast in it as well, sort of like Spellbreaker does. I'm only guessing here, but I just thought that was kind of cool that there was grounding totem and they decided to take it out, because a lot of people have spoken about spell taunt before and thought it would be a good idea. But it's interesting to see that Blizzard obviously did think about that and decided not to go with it. All right. More alternative heroes will be coming, but not in the near future. So I guess what we've got is what we're going to have. So I don't know. They've only done how many? They did Illyria, which is Hunter. They did Medivh, which is Mage, and they did Magni, which is Warrior. And now we've got this extra Khadgar special exclusive one. And that's it. And that's all they've done. But they're not planning on doing any in the near future. Doesn't that still seem to be a little bit strange?
I'd say they're just spreading them out so they can kind of get people to empty their wallets multiple times.
Yeah, if you release all that stuff at once, you're like, it's like when you go to Dunkin' Donuts. It's like, we're not going to buy all the donuts. No, dude, that's fair. I buy all the donuts.
That's not a good analogy.
You go, I can't eat all the donuts at once. Maybe I shouldn't buy all the donuts. But then you do, because you'll eat them later. But, that kind of thing. You want to spread it out a little bit. You don't want to just go, here, have all these things. And people are like, wow, this is really exciting. I'll buy a couple of them now. Don't care about the other ones. If you, spread it out. I'm not saying that Blizzard are a money-grabbing machine. But, I mean, they do know how to make money.
That they definitely
That's their job.
That is their job. It's our job to complain about them making money.
Yeah, I want my money back.
Yes. Okay, some of the other stuff that came out of this interview was brawls are created through sort of brainstorming, looking at ideas from the community and ideas from within Team 5, which I think is quite interesting. So they are paying attention and they are going look, I suppose that explains Challenge Stone, because the Challenge Stone one was very much a community-driven idea for a brawl. From the tournament that was done. Wow, that was a while ago now. How long ago was Challenge Stone? Okay, your silence says enough.
Like the original one. Well, ages.
Yeah, it was ages ago. But anyway,
more than I can remember.
I thought that was kind of interesting, but we'll rush through this because we got a lot to get through. And one of the other things that was mentioned was they are looking into an option to randomize your card back when playing, but it isn't something we'll see for Whispers of the Old Gods, but hopefully we'll be seeing it at some point in the future.
They're doing this. When they're going to give me more deck slots?
Have you filled 18 already, have you?
No, I haven't actually, but still, more deck slots.
But I like
card backs would be awesome. Actually.
Yeah, I like the idea of random card backs because I don't actually care that much about my card back. I like having all the card backs and all the card backs that I can possibly get, but I don't necessarily have that big a preference between them. I just want it to randomly pick one for me. I think that'd be a cool idea.
Now that you say it like that, it actually sounds like a good
idea. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I kind of skipped past reviews mostly because Martin forgot to put them in the show notes because that is his job. It is his job. He has now added them. So I can say thank you both from Sweden.
Lummox. See, this is all down to Lummox.
And Mech. Although I suppose he didn't put it on iTunes. He put it on the comments on SoundCloud. But still, he's Swedish too. We love our Swedish friends. I don't know if I can try and pronounce this name. Martin, do you want to give it a go?
Livrayevus.
Okay. That guy.
That's tricky. LVRAYVLF if you'd like to play along at home.
Oh, yes. Right. He says perfection. To be honest, I think we can just stop the review there. It doesn't really get much better than that. But I should go on. He says, I follow 14 Hearthstone podcasts. Wow, really? That's a lot of Hearthstone podcasts. Including my own Swedish Hearthstone podden. Hey, Hearthstone podcast, I'm guessing in Swedish.
You gave us 5 stars. You can advertise whatever you want. We have not checked the authenticity of this. We will get onto Mech or Lummox to let us know.
The Unstable Portal have the perfect balance between entertainment and education. Love it.
I love how I didn't realise that the perfect balance between education and entertainment was 5% education, 95% entertainment, witty banter, etc.
I personally think entertainment's pushing it. 95% bullshit or 95% bollocks is probably how I'd describe it, but you guys seem to love it, so we'll keep doing it. The second review that we've had is from Radical Ed. I can say that one. Is that also from Sweden, Martin?
Yeah, both from Sweden.
It says, one of the best Hearthstone podcasts out there. Unstable Portal was the first Hearthstone podcast I listened to, but it has proved itself to also be the best one out there. Great banter and fun to get some WoW lore as a complete noob on the subject.
You ruined it there at the end, Ed. You're doing so well.
Well, Ed, don't worry. The lore only goes away whilst we're doing card reviews because there just isn't enough time in the show to tack the lore onto the end.
Shucks.
It will be coming back, I can promise you that. And let me also take this opportunity to thank everybody over at the Patreon that has been donating their hard-earned money to us. That is patreon.com/unstableportal. You guys are amazing, and I'm pretty sure, although I did say this last month, I'm pretty sure next month we will be buying Joe a microphone. Pretty sure.
We might. No more hiss.
No more hiss. I do wonder if people think that we've made Joe's microphone sound worse this week, just so that we can get more people to donate to buy a new one.
Yeah, that's what I said. Joe, run the bath in the background. Run the bath, it'll work.
There's a Hoover and a washing machine. And
Yeah, I don't know what's happened. We've changed TeamSpeak server, and although all the settings that we have are exactly the same, Joe sounds very slightly worse. Not sure
he did
why.
say that he also ate his microphone and dropped it a number of times this week, so...
dipped it in my tea.
Well, when you've run out of biscuits, what do you do? What do you do?
Also, I'd like to say, before I forget, because I've remembered a couple of times and there hasn't been an opportune moment, we were on the... Okay,
Top Deck Kings?
Yeah, I ruined that one. I was thinking Unstable Portal. I was like, no, that's us. It's probably a different one. We're normally on this one. What's the other one?
You're calling the Angry Chicken Unstable Portal. You're calling Top Deck Kings Unstable Portal. Do you just think every Hearthstone podcast is called Unstable Portal?
Yeah, might as well be. We were on Top Deck Kings this week with Tell. We had a lot of fun. I highly suggest you go listen if you want to hear our opinions on last week's cards verbatim repeated again.
Yeah,
actually,
I don't know.
we did actually have some new opinions, like some of the opinions that had changed around, and it was a lot
it
of
wasn't.
fun. We highly appreciate Tell letting us come along.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was a lot of fun. So thanks for that, Tel. Yeah. All right. Well,
It's really weird, like doing a podcast with the three of us, but like Joe had an American accent. I was like, what the fuck? What is going on?
It's like Joe suddenly got louder and a lot more American. What's going on? Anyway,
And he's hosting it. Like Max is just sitting there. He was like, I do this bit.
It was very weird, like being the guy that just kind of passively sits there and just gives his opinion and doesn't tell Martin to shut up. It was
Slips off the toilet every now and then. Yeah, that's my role.
I'm all right. I don't have the bladder of a 2-year-old girl. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I know, but I borrowed it from her like last week, and I couldn't be bothered to give it back.
Oh dear. I'm sure she'll be missing it. Anyway. So thank you to everyone that supports us in whatever way you do. It's always greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk.
I said I borrowed it. Oh my god, I've lived in London too long. That's horrible.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about, and I lived in London for 32 years.
Okay, never mind. Carry on.
It was the right way round.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah.
You think you confused borrow and lend?
I thought I said, "Can you borrow me that?" I hate it when people say, "Can you borrow me that?" And no, I can lend it to you.
Yes. Well done. Your grammar is correct, despite your upbringing.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to talk about the Brawl for a little bit now, although I'm going to guess you guys haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Does that still exist?
It's actually a pretty cool one. It's along the lines of Web Spinner Brawl and Unstable Portal Brawl, except this time you get to pick your class and your deck is full of only Raven idols. So the Druid 1-mana spell, discover a spell or discover a minion.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And so I've played one game of it, but my opponent conceded on turn 3 because I played a Harvest Golem. Harvest Golem too strong.
It's pretty strong, actually. That was a pretty strong card.
And I'm pretty busy with Overwatch stuff, so I got my pack and was kind of like, all right, I'm going to come back to this at some point over the weekend. But it looks like a kind of a cool one. I'd recommend checking it out, or we should definitely play some games against each other at least, because I think it is a...
You know, when I look back at it and I think of all the packs I haven't got from not playing Brawls, I go, that's so much dust for this next expansion. Even at 40 dust minimum, I'm like, I have just wasted so much dust by not doing that. That's almost like doing your dailies. It's like, I just need one win. Especially when it's not build a deck one.
Yeah, if it's not build a deck one, you've got no excuse. Like I occasionally...
I'm lazy and I don't like playing ball on the ladder.
All right, fair enough. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the nerfs. All the nerfs have been announced for all the classic cards. Most of them are cards that we were expecting. Some of them are a couple of cards that we weren't. And it's all pretty interesting. The first thing I'm going to say is that the first thing to get nerfed is the sorry emote. We are losing sorry. It is being replaced with wow. So in the little spot where sorry used to be, there will now be a little speech bubble that says wow. Any one of these...
Jaina is the only one people complain about just because she does the sarcastic sorry.
Well, Jaina still does the sarcastic one because now she does a sarcastic amazing.
Well, for the wow. Oh my God. And that's just as bad. It's like when they're doing Mercedes can go, amazing. Oh, you don't get it. You have the Blizzard haven't got it. Oh, I'll explain it to you sometime.
Basically, upper class Jaina with her silver spoon up her ass upbringing is just sarcastic to everybody.
Even if it was just like wow, even if she just went wow.
Yeah, Jaina's is the only one I've seen. I got no idea if any of the others are sarcastic, but they were using it on the Broad Frodan stream today.
Wow.
It is pretty much wow. But yep, goodbye. Sorry is gone. Say goodbye to sorry and get used to using wow. That's what it's going to be going forward. All right, let's get ourselves into the cards. The first one on our list, the first one to be getting the nerf hammer is the Ancient of Law. He is still a 7-mana 5/5, but he now says choose one, draw a card, or restore 5 health. So this has been nerfed from draw 2 cards down to draw a card, or restore 5 health. So pretty much everything is the same, apart from it's now draws only 1 card instead of 2.
Not to hammer home a point that we've talked about on card nerfs in the past, but the vast majority of cards that have been nerfed have been to do with card draw and charge, and this is no exception. This is an auto conclude because it's like so flexible. It's a good body at 7, so flexible. like, draw 2 cards, or like give myself 5 health, or give a minion 5 health if that's what you need. Like, so flexible, auto include in every like sort of non-rushy kind of druid deck. And putting it down to draw a card is a good change. Like, you still look at that and you still go, probably still play that card. And that's when you know that a nerf is good. When you look at it and go, I probably will still play that card. Not 100%, but yeah, I think I'll probably put certainly one of them in there. And then you go, well, then that's a good nerf. Because if you're still playing it, then it was broken at what it was before.
I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like it's a bit overcosted now.
It's the flexibility of like the health against an aggro deck or draw a card in a...
I know, but it's a class card, so they're supposed to be a little bit more powerful. And it's like,
It's still brushing the line. Like, saying like only drawing 1 card is a lot less powerful than drawing 2 cards, but it still does
I think druids are just going to play Azure Drake again instead. It's like 2 less mana for the same effect and only 1 less stats.
Quite possibly.
And has spell power.
Yeah, buffs just swipe. Like, your
this
swipe
should have been 6 mana.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 mana, yeah.
And so it's overcosted.
Maybe 6 mana would be too good, but like, or reduce the stats on it or something and put it down on 6 mana, like a 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, no, a 5/4 or 4/5. Yeah, it's 6 mana.
Or maybe increase the stats on it, like make it a 5/6 or something, and keep it at 7 mana. It just like
5/6 exactly.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, I know you're saying. Like, I definitely agree. It's like with 2 cards, it was slightly too good, but like I said, it's a class card, so it's okay being a little too good. It's not like druids have like an overabundance of.
But it's an auto include. Like, it is.
But lots
like
of classes have auto include. Like mage auto include 2 fireballs. Like,
no, but they don't actually. That's not actually true.
Basically, they do.
A lot of the time they do, but like I've seen like decks where they go, well, we have like the super control ones will take.
Yeah, but there's druid decks that don't.
Yeah, there's druid decks
Agent of Lore in. We're talking about like 90% of the decks.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, true.
And I think that's okay. It's just a strong card. I don't know the like.
But then at the same time,
reason for nerfing this.
Maybe okay. Also, maybe you want to look at it like this. Like, this has been in the rotation, or it's been in the game since the beginning, and there's been a auto include since the beginning. And we don't know, like, the way that like Magic and other card games work. They ban stuff periodically in certain formats once a year. I think it's once a year, maybe twice a year, but let's just say once a year. Maybe this is what they're going to do. What they're doing is they just want to take these cards out of the format for a bit. Maybe they'll buff them back up again because they unban cards in Magic. Maybe they'll go, okay, we want this to be played, so next year we're going to make Ancient Law back up to a 5/6. But we're going to nerf some of the other ones, classic cards that are now seeing play all the time. And it's not about them being overpowered and that. It's almost their way of, look, you can still play this card, but we've essentially banned it. You can't have this card, or we don't want it to be good enough so that you play it, because we want you to play different cards, because it helps shake up the meta and the game in general. And we'll bring them back in, and we'll change them a little bit, and we'll bring them back in. And that's one of the strengths that they have, that the fact that they can use these cards. Like, you can't just change a card in a actual physical card game. They can change this card, and you know what, next year when it's not being played at all this year because it's rubbish, they buff it again and it gets played again, but it's still not.
They don't do that. They don't buff. They won't spend the effort looking for cards.
I don't know.
They just make new cards.
I'm just saying it's a possibility. I think you're right, but I'm just saying that it's a possibility. It's a tool that they have to keep the meta fresh.
It might just be. It may have just been. There may have been something like that we're not seeing with the Cthulhu deck, and this is a pretty big minion, and the card draw with the Cthulhu, it just ended up too powerful or something. It was probably something along those lines, like, rather than its current strength. Like, it probably was just too good in a very rampy Cthulhu druid.
Yeah, but then I don't like it. If that's true, I don't like neutering a card if you want to do it because you want to shake stuff up, that's fine, but I don't like neutering it just because all your other cards or your new deck that you want to work, they don't know that necessarily that druid one will see a lot of play. I guess if they're tested enough they do know that it will, but it's just,
I don't know, some of these
cards, I don't like doing it for one deck like that.
I suppose if you say for one deck, that's different. But some of the nerfs we're coming up to are definitely because they are limiting design space. And
Definitely, yeah. This isn't like equal.
This isn't limiting design space. This is just fine. It's like card draw. They've said card draw they feel is too powerful sometimes because they don't like the idea. Although, despite that, actually, Divine Favor is not in this list. So
that was mentioned on Twitter. Someone said that. Was that Monica who said it on Twitter, or was that you, Joe?
That was me.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Oh, I missed out on some Twitter banter.
It was like they slipped when they were going to nerf hammer.
Yeah, the nerf hammer slipped and somehow managed
flurry instead.
So shall we? Oh, you draw 2 cards for 7 mana instead of 1. Well, what about that card that was it 3 mana? Draw 8 cards. Like, that was fine. Allow that one. That one.
No worries. No worries at all. Anyway, let's move on. We don't want to dwell on these all day.
Oh my god!
It's actually going to take the whole podcast.
We've got a lot to get through.
That's what I kind of expected would happen.
Because so many opinions on all the nerfs, whereas all the new cards, it's like that's awesome. That's not so good.
I have
that's
much
awesome.
more.
Whereas the nerfs, I'm like, why? I'm so angry.
I have so much more opinion on these nerfs. That's why I was saying that we need to do a second podcast to talk about the cards because I just want to talk about these nerfs and we're going to run out of time.
I tell you what. If you guys stop talking about the opinions and just start saying the opinions, we might get somewhere.
Well, we're waiting for someone to read out the bloody card.
Can we all just talk like double speed, and then you can slow the podcast down in post production? And we can have like a 4-hour podcast in 2 hours.
We can do the chipmunk version now. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next card. The next card is Force of Nature. That's getting the nerf hammer. I don't think none of the rarities are changing. It's still epic, and it's going down to 5 mana. Was previously 6 mana, and now the spell reads Summon 3/2/2 Treants. So previously this was summon 6 mana, summon 3/2/2 Treants with charge that die at the end of this turn. So essentially it was six. It was a 6 damage burst. Let me explain it properly. Like it was a 6 damage burst that was being comboed with things that was doing far too much. They said they were nerfing this. Yeah, they were being comboed with Savage Roar. And it was doing far too much damage. It was so annoying, always having to play around being on 14 health, and so they wanted to get rid of it. Yeah, I really like this nerf. I think this is a really good card still.
See?
Yeah, I think 5 mana summons.
How much is Ball of Spiders?
6 mana.
6 mana, 3/1/1s.
But they also give you 3 cards back. This you're getting like an extra 1/1 buff on them for 1 less mana.
I think this is fine. It's fine stat wise.
Yeah, I mean you do get 6/6 for 5/5. It's not awful. It's not exciting at all.
It's not exciting, but I don't know. There's some other tools that Druid's getting somewhere down the line. Somewhere in my head, I'm not sure where it's come from, but somewhere in my head, like they seem to be. So obviously we're losing this whole like burst mid-range Druid kind of combo-y type thing, and it feels like they are very much pushing. I mean, obviously there's still a lot of ramp, so there's going to be a ramp Druid still going on, but it also feels like they're giving Druid a lot more tools for their flood deck. So obviously we've got Egg Druid at the moment. But we're losing one of the eggs, which is quite a key part of it, and we're losing some other key parts of it, like Haunted Creeper, and a few other sticky minions that are really good for the Flood Druid deck. But actually this, plus some other stuff, I think like they're still going to have some tools to do some kind of Egg Druid type things without the eggs.
What I like about this nerf is that almost the card that's not nerfed. I like that they haven't nerfed Savage Roar. I don't think Savage Roar is a bad card because it doesn't do anything with nothing on the board. If it's like Blessing of Kings or something like that, like when you're playing against a Flood Paladin deck, you keep killing the 1/1 even at the cost of like a Fiery War Axe charge, because you know that if you don't, they're going to put Blessing Kings on it, but while they don't, the Blessing Kings is useless. And it's the same thing now with Savage Roar. It's not useful unless you have minions on the board. Before it was only useful because you could summon these charge minions. So now that you can't do that, it's like, well, if you keep their board clear, that Savage Roar just sits dead in their hand, but then it will still have the same use that it had before if you are managed to take control of the board and
it's just like a mini version of the old Patron Warrior, where there's nothing you can do, even you've kept his board clear, and he's still going to combo you and kill you. Yeah. Obviously in Patron it was harder to set up for more damage, but this is just like, with 2 copies of both of these in Druid, it was just pretty consistent. He's going to have the combo, basically, by the amount of time he's got enough mana to cast it.
Yeah.
pretty much every time.
I think everyone's, even though it's been there from the beginning, it's only very recently there's been major complaints about it. It's kind of been complained about, but now when they announced that they were going to do the nerfs, I think everyone's like, well, this is something that needs to change because it's kind of boring now. Everyone knows the magic number is 14. It's just kind of like, that's a bit.
It was always strong, but it's just not complained about when Druid overall wasn't as strong in the meta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously now Druid is like tier 1 deck and has been for quite a while. And this is what people focus on.
Yeah. Well,
Which is fair enough, because it is a big
it's an insane amount of reach.
Yeah.
Like you say, they're only going to be at the health to die at this, and you're most likely going to join this by the point that you get to it. I think the reason that it didn't get probably complained about before, I remember running double combo wasn't a common thing to do. It's like, oh, they're running double combo. And like a year or 2 years ago, and so that maybe it wasn't consistent enough that people necessarily quote unquote worried about it. They didn't enjoy it enough. Or if you run double combo, it's like, oh, I can throw away part of this just to get a better, more favourable trade, better ball clear, and I kind of like that they've got rid of it now. It's a lot better.
Yeah,
Change.
Definitely
Keeps the soul of the card.
They do like to do that. Right, let's move ourselves on to the third and final nerf that Druid is getting. This is the Keeper of the Grove, everyone's favourite overpowered, very flexible 4-mana minion. He is still 4 mana, but he is now a 2/2 and says choose one, deal 2 damage, or silence a minion. This card is this card still playable?
Okay, I tell you what.
I don't know.
Do the next card as well, because it's a relevant discussion between the two of them.
Okay, yeah, that is a very, very good point. Okay, so Iron Beak Owl, the neutral silence minion that everyone gets, is normally the 2-mana 2/1 Battle Cry Silencer minion. He is now a 3-mana 2/1 Battle Cry Silencer minion, and he is still a beast.
So basically, what you're looking at as Druid is that you've now got 1 mana more. It now costs 1 mana more on your Keeper, and all you get for that is the 2 damage and 1 more health. That's the difference. 1 mana more gets you the option of doing 2 damage and having 1 more health on your minion. But then also in the negative thing is that Iron Big Owl is a beast, and they seem to be pushing Beast Druid harder. So where does that kind of play off? What do you think of that, Joe?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I think Keeper was really broken before.
I mean, it was very good.
Just being able to have a really good statted card that could deal 2 damage, but is the flexibility for silence in your deck. Like with Owl and the other silence, which is a 4-mana 4/3, I think. I can't remember the name of the card, but there's another silence.
Yeah, Spellbreaker.
Spellbreaker, that's it. Both Spellbreaker and Owl. You had to think really hard whether you want to put those in your deck. You really need to be in a meta where you need silence, or obviously an aggro deck for Owl. But Keeper of the Grove, you were talking about auto-includes, in Druid.
Yeah. That was
you just put it in,
aggro,
because you don't have to use the silence, but it's just always there when you need it.
You put that in the aggro deck because, I could silence that tool. I could do 2 damage to face. It had everything. I mean, actually, that's probably the better comparison. It's like Keeper of the Grove it's the 4-mana 2/2, deal 2 damage, silence a minion. You've got the neutral one still, 4-mana 4/3. So you get 2 attack and 1 health in exchange for the option of doing 2 damage, when really this minion is probably there to be a silence. So would you not just play a Spellbreaker?
I don't know. It is the versatility of the minion that made it so strong.
True. But, I mean, those extra stats aren't minor. They're not major. Yeah. But then, you rarely use the 2 damage. I mean, you do use it. It's hard to
use it quite a lot.
I mean, you would too. And also, if you were really, if you really wanted to play a strong, if you wanted a tempo play, you could even just play it for 4 mana and do 2 damage.
You know, actually, I'll tell you why this card is too strong. Because this card meant that every Druid... How many decks other than Druid do you play against where after they've used their Iron Beak Owl, you sweat over their second silence?
Yeah,
None. Because they've run 1 Owl, because that's all they can afford to run. Whereas you play a Druid, and they've used the silence, and I'm sitting there holding Tyrion going... If they've drawn their second Keeper of the Grove, because you know they've got 2 silencers, and having 2 silencers is probably the problem. You can have 1. Everyone can have 1. That's fine. But you can't have 2. You even have to have a trade-off on the stats, obviously, to get your 1, but you can't have 2.
Mm.
And I don't think you can afford to have 2 4-mana 2/2s at the end of the day. I don't think you can play 2. They'll probably still play 1, but you can't play 2. Because you don't silence anything below 4 mana anyway. So I think you probably would keep doing it for the flexibility.
Yeah, you probably would still keep this card for the flexibility instead of using Iron Beak Owl, unless you were running a beast-heavy deck, maybe. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you don't run double copies of it. You don't run 2 Keeper of the Groves anymore, and that's probably what they wanted.
Okay. Fair enough. And just quickly, how do we feel about Iron Beak Owl being brought up to 3 mana?
That's fine. I don't like silences at all. It's really anti-fun for making cool decks with your awesome legendaries that have really cool effects, and then they just get silenced. It's just fun. There should be other ways, like whether the other decks, because it means both of you get to play cooler cards as well. It's a bit shitty for aggro decks, but does anybody really care about that?
No one cares about you, Joe.
Yeah.
I know, to be fair, and the aggro deck can still run it. Like the 1 mana cost more isn't that big a deal because your aggro deck, like by the time they're getting to kill you, is often floating extra mana anyway. Like I suppose
aggro decks are super mana efficient, and like that 1 extra mana could have been a leper gnome or something that would do like 4 damage or 6 damage.
Who wants one of them?
Yeah, I know now that it's nerfed. A pre-nerfed leper gnome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
into the same curve, which could end up doing 6 damage easily.
This is very true. Okay, well, speaking of changes that help us play more big, fun minions, the next one up under the nerf hammer is the Big Game Hunter. He's still a 4/2, he's still Battle Cry, destroy a minion with 7 attack or more. However, he now costs 5 mana. Now, This, I think, the more I think about it, the more I think this is a good nerf, because the biggest problem with Big Game Hunter was the tempo swing was unbelievable. A 3-mana card would just destroy your 7+ mana card. And so not only have they destroyed your 7+ mana card, but then they get to play more stuff because they've probably still got 7 or maybe a little bit less mana left to play stuff. And it's just insane. So now this has been brought in line with the cost of most spot removals that the classes have.
Yeah, like Assassinate's 5.
Yeah. It makes a lot more sense because you're getting a body. That's the upside. Although it's a weak body for 5 mana, you're still destroying something. So this might even still see play. Like maybe a one-of in a deck every now and again.
The problem is,
in the meta is slow or whatever.
The big body is, okay, other than the odd occasion you've got like those aggro decks with the weird downside, like 8/8s and stuff like that, or, the giants. This will still be playable even if you giant on turn 4, which is as early as you're pretty much ever going to giant. On your turn 5, you can still use this. So it's still there to deal with the giants at a time. It's like you say, it's not the massive tempo swing. When you play something for 3 mana, this is why the owl matters. Like that 1 mana on the owl matters because it's like, I get to silence that for 2 mana, but I still get to spend my other 4. Whereas it's like, now it's like, I only get to spend 3, I get to play something a lot weaker. Like that 1 mana makes a huge difference. And it's the same thing with this. It's like, when you like do something like destroy their 7 mana thing for essentially free, I've got like this random 4/2 body I don't care about, but I've got that. I fucking just like killed this guy and it cost me 3 mana. It cost me, I don't think of a 3 mana spell. Are there any 3 mana spells?
Shaman's got a lot of them.
Yeah, okay, it cost me... Yeah, but all of them have... That's the thing. This kills a 7/7, and it doesn't... It gives you a 4/2, and it doesn't have overload. Oh, my God. Like, how overpowered do you want to be? And so it just means that the best you can ever do is if it's the end turns of the game, you can play a 5 mana card out with it. But like more likely you want to be playing this on turn 7, and then all you can do is shove down a 2-drop. And the thing with the 2-drop is that then you're liable to be weak to things like Consecrate and everything, because everyone's going to have 2 health. This has 2 health, the 2-drop will have 2 health. You get Consecrated and you're like, I got blown out a little bit there. That kind of didn't work so well for me. I had to play it, but yeah, I like what you're saying. The spot removal works well.
In fact, but those are much smaller swings. In fact, that is actually a really good example, I think, because like you say, you play this and that, and then they consecrate, but they've then spent 4 mana to consecrate, so they're quite limited in what they can do. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's a good nerf. It's what it needed. It needed to do something. I don't mind them keeping it there to keep. I think it's right to keep it there to keep things like hand lock in control, under control. But it's still a massive nerf. That 2 mana is huge. It's playable, but it's huge. It's like it was a very strong card.
Yeah. There'll be no such thing as a tempo BGH anymore. I mean, well, I guess there might be if you've somehow a turn 5 plus with nothing else to play.
Well, they play a 10 mana whatever card, which there seems to be a lot more of now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're probably... Yeah, but it's just another spot removal. This is the whole thing. It's like in the current meta, like you don't really see that many assassinates. Like Handlock runs one Siphon Soul. You know,
but you need some neutral spot removal of some kind, and obviously this is limited to only 7 attack or more minions. So.
Yeah, I think like, at that cost, it's neutral. It costs the same thing. It's got a limitation, but you get a weak body for it. I think it's fine now. I don't think that's too strong or too. If I play Doctor, that's the thing that now I know this is like not how it's going to be, but you play Doctor Boom, and now you go, okay, BGH it, and then. Ping a boom bot and then BGH it, and then I'm like, that doesn't seem nearly as good.
And he's still ahead of Boombot.
Yeah, and now that his Boombot's looking at this 4-2 going, I got you in my sight, and then he does that, and you're like, I didn't get any tempo off of that. That basically cost me 7 mana to get rid of use a big game hunter and a ping to get rid of his 7 mana card.
Yeah. He's still got initiative.
Yeah,
it's not good. Not good. Okay, fair enough. Well, we're happy with the nerf. I think that's good to say. Let's move ourselves on to the next guy. He is the Arcane Golem. He's still 3 mana. He's still 4 attack, although now he also has full health, and he does not have charge. However, he does still read Battle Cry. Give your opponent a mana crystal. Joe, how do you feel about the changes to Arcane Golem being our friendly aggro?
I don't understand why he's not like a 4/5 or something.
Yeah.
Like the other 3 mana ones don't have such a ridiculous downside. Like, it's a huge downside that was only okay because he had charge. And even when he had charge, you didn't want to use him too early in the game.
Yeah.
So why would you ever play him now? Like,
it doesn't balance out because this... Okay, so Overload, like people are like, Overload really limits you. Overload only affects you for 1 turn. This doesn't affect you for 1 turn. If you play this on turn 3, obviously the whole idea they're thinking is this is going to be like you play a 4/4 on turn 3, that's like a massive amount of tempo. But you've lost so much more tempo than if that was to say Overload 1. Because you're not overloading yourself for 1 turn, you're giving them 1 extra mana crystal for every turn of the game.
You're overloaded for every turn of the game until 10 mana.
It's like, I'm overloaded for every turn of the game until it's a turn 10, and then we're equal again. Because on turn 4, 5, 6, instead of them having a total of 15 mana, they're going to have a total of 5, 6, 7 mana, which is 17. That they've gained more than if you just overload yourself for 1 turn. They keep that detriment. That detriment that you've given them every single turn, so it gets worse. So now you don't want to play this early. Can't play this early because if you play this on turn 3, it's like I'm giving them too much advantage. I'm giving them 1 mana every single turn until we finish. I have to finish them early, and I don't think a 4/4/3 without charge is so good that I'm like, is it worth giving them an extra mana for every single turn until turn 10 to play something that's got 1 more attack than a spider tank?
No. No, it's not. You're getting 1 stat and they're getting a mana crystal. It's like, no. No.
You get to play the coin every single turn, and you're like, this is... And what do you get? I get a 3 mana 4/4.
You got done, mate. You got done.
You're giving them 7 extra mana over the course of the game. Like, you're basically putting this card down and giving them a Dr. Boom for free.
All right, we're pretty unanimous on this one. Arcane Golem now sucks. Let's move ourselves on.
And like Joe said, it was kind of like push and shove before. You're like, yeah, you play it because it does do something, but only because of the charge.
Yeah.
Like, giving it 2 health does not make up for charge at all.
No.
I think even that 4 mana, like a 3 mana 4/5, Okay, the other one I thought of today when I was looking at this is Dancing Swords. Dancing Swords is a 3-mana 4/4 that draws them a card.
Nobody plays
I think
that.
that's a less of a downside than giving them 1 mana every single turn for the rest of the game.
Yeah, nobody
And you
plays
don't
that
fucking play
except for Milrogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you done with your examples? Can I move this this very incredibly slow train along now? All right. We are following ourselves on now to Hunter's Mark, which is the Hunter spell, surprisingly. Used to be a 0-mana spell, change a minion's health to 1. It is now a 1-mana spell, change a minion's health to 1. I didn't see this coming, to be honest. I didn't necessarily think
like that.
There was
this
that.
means 0 has had issues. 0-mana spells have had issues.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the point. I think Hunter's Mark was fine in the fact that Hunter, at the moment at least, isn't too strong, and Hunter's Mark is good tempo removal for them that they kind of need. But it's just at 0 mana, it's just going to end up... At some point, it's just going to be broken.
I mean, it was broken before. Like, you remember when you had the Buzzard Unleash, and like you can even talk about it in similar in the Snakes and Drakes deck. Like, you go, this is going to cost me all my mana, but I'm going to draw 6 cards, and I'm probably going to hit a Hunter's Mark on one of the... That means I get to kill whatever I want.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. All right, that's a pretty solid nerf as well. Right, we're going to move ourselves on to the Rogue card, which we kind of felt was a bit of a curveball. Came out of nowhere. Everybody's favourite burst combo card from Rogue is Blade Flurry. Used to be 2 mana, destroy your weapon and deal its damage to all enemies. It is now 4 mana, destroy your weapon and deal its damage to all enemy minions. So it no longer damages face.
2 mana more and...
Yes, 2 mana more.
2 mana more
face.
and doesn't damage face. I kind of like this, but at the same time, I get why people are whinging. People are going, this is a double nerf. Like, not only does it not do face damage, like for a finisher, it also, like, they nerf to mana cost, and like going from 2 to 4 is a huge, like, kind of...
Also, Rogue. Rogue is like one of the weakest classes in Constructed. Like, maybe this is... Something to do with Arena, because Rogue is the strongest in the
but it's design space.
Like, this design space argument gets a bit silly sometimes, because, like, every card you release that has an interesting effect affects design space. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't make all cards so that they're never going to, like, combo in interesting ways.
No,
and that's half the fun of the game. Like, this card has basically enabled, like, Miracle Rogue, Malagos Rogue, Oil Rogue... Like, none of those decks basically would be anything without this card. Like, even Malagos Rogue, it's really important having Blade Flurry for both clear and an extra damage spell for hitting face.
I think the reason they did it is because they want to make Rogue, like, the weapon class. They want to make some really cool weapons, but they can't make really cool weapons with this card as it is.
But, like, you can never do that, because
weapons
they just get oozed. Like, as soon as weapons are good, and if Rogue ends up relying on its good weapons, then, like,
maybe
other
they want to
classes
make it
are just
a little
going
bit
to
harder.
take in oozes, which is...
You can still... I also... Is the problem this card, or is the problem prep? Like, now they're thinking that you can prep this out for 1 mana.
I guess so.
Was it 1 mana? How much did you take off?
Yeah, prep 4? Reduces it by 3.
Yeah. So, like, they're thinking you can still prep Malagos, prep this.
Yeah, but it does no face damage now.
It does no face damage. Maybe you can, yeah. I guess
Well,
they just want to be
really
ball
help you,
clear.
like,
Yeah,
I don't understand the double nerf. Like, I honestly think it just shouldn't have been nerfed in the first place, but despite that,
it's weird
why
that
was
this
it double
card,
nerfed?
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird
like,
that this got so hard nerfed.
If you think about it this way, for example, the simplest combo is Blade Flurry Deadly Poison, and it costs 7 mana now, and it only does, like, a 3 damage board clear.
Yeah.
There are 2 cards and 7 mana. And there's no oil anymore in Rogue.
It's really weird because
they haven't got any weapons either. I got
they're trying to push
Martin's
Rogue
argument
towards that Death Rattle Rogue. That's what they want them to do.
Which is so... Like, the decks were so fun for Rogue. I'm really annoyed with that. Like, those are my favourite types of decks, and now they want to go to some boring board control Death Rattle thing. Like,
guess
and they were really difficult to play, like really skilled decks.
Joe's sitting there going, "This is bullshit. I was trying to get
bullshit.
Golden Rogue. I wanted to go
You had
face.
50 wins
I
away.
wanted to go face. This card no longer says face on it. What do I fucking do?"
Like Rogue is like these decks were so fun. Like, was there any other like classes that had so many people that specialized only in that class? I mean, I know there's a few kind of priest players.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
things
only
like
one
that.
is priest that I can think of. Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's just so much to learn in those decks.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
you're
just
right.
taking it all away.
Yeah, the double nerf wasn't needed. Like, they could have gone one with another. I don't think if this did face at four mana, I'd be like, wow, that's fine. They can prep it, but it takes 2 cards. It's like that's the cost of prep. The cost of prep is it does nothing on its own. That card is like, I'm holding it. What's the only card you have in your hand? Prep. What does it do? Literally nothing. I play it. It has 0 effect on the game. It might as well be a blank card. That's the cost of having prep. So you can't balance stuff around that. That's what that card does. And like not doing the face damage. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a bit of burst. It's like, it's weird because no one was clamoring for this to be nerfed. No one was going, "Oh, Blade Flow is ridiculous." People go, "Oh, I love
Well,
Blade Flow."
look. I honestly agree with you. I think you're right. It was a design space decision because they want to make more weapons for Rogue, and with Blade Flurry being 2 damage and only hitting face, it probably does make that difficult to not do things that are extremely overpowered. But with that argument in mind, there are no weapons, really cool weapons so far announced for Rogue, and I think we've now seen all the cards. I've only scanned through the stuff that's come out tonight, so I might have missed something. But I mean, obviously they can still release stuff further down the line. But it seems strange that they would nerf this.
That's what made me
now.
double take on that argument because I was going to say that, and I was like, yeah, but they didn't give us a cool weapon. If they gave us like the coolest weapon ever, I'd be like, I've got it. I get it. Okay, that's why they did it. I understand. But they didn't, and it's like, yeah, I don't know why you did it. Like, it's design space, but if you don't actually design anything into that space, then why did you nerf the card?
The thing I'm most upset about is like talking about this design space argument, and I guess like comparing this to Force of Nature's Savage Roar combo. The difference with this card compared to that combo is that combo limits design space and doesn't generate any interesting like deck archetypes, whereas this card might limit some design space and things that they can't put in because of the card, but it also is the kind of card that creates interesting decks, and that's what I'm most annoyed about nerfing this. Really,
you're losing like some really interesting decks. I mean, it
also
does
board clear wise, what are Rogue gonna do now?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. What is Rogue? They don't have any other alternatives, do they? They got Fan and Knives.
But I mean, that's poor.
Spell damage your Fan and Knives. Skulker into Fan and Knives. There we go. That's the board clear.
Well, the thing is as well is like we're also forgetting the other hidden downside to this card. Is like it's not only that we're talking about, you know, it's this much. It costs like 7 mana, 2 cards, etc. It's like, even if you made the coolest weapon, this destroys your weapon. So you have some really like cool, powerful thing, which is like a lot of damage or whatever. But it's like, until you've taken all your swings to the last swing, you're losing something by using this card.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
like,
weapons for Rogue are not... Like, it would have to be a pretty interesting weapon, because when you equip a weapon on Rogue, like, you're losing your hero power.
Yeah. Almost about like they're not about it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
We'll have to wait.
This is the weirdest one. This is the weirdest.
This is the strangest nerf out of all of them. Definitely the strangest nerf. But we'll
Actually,
not
the
dwell on
two
it.
Rogue ones, the weirdest. You're like, what? Rogue.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Rogue is overpowered. I didn't know anyone played Rogue.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to move ourselves on to everyone's favourite juggler. He's the one that juggles knives. He is 2 mana. 3/2. After you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. He is now being turned into a 2 mana 2/2. After you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. This is a perfect nerf, I feel.
See, Joe,
This is still ridiculous.
No. I tell you what, Joe. Like, I was reading your. I was sitting yesterday, right, cycling for my 15th kilometer on the bike, sweating away. dripping down my glistening
Martin,
abs.
stop setting the scene
sorry,
and tell us what happened.
Sorry, I wanted to
stop it. Tell us what happened.
Anyway, so I saw what like you, Joe, and Monica were talking about. Like, I can't believe like this is the nerf. It's like it only does 2 damage instead of 3 damage. And go, but that's so much bigger than you realise. Twice yesterday, I played 3 games yesterday, and I was playing this aggro shaman deck. I played both Sir Finley, you know, the 1/3 for 1 mana Murloc guy that lets you discover a hero power, and I played the Tunnel Trog guy. And this will also work for other 1/3s, things like the Mana Worm and stuff like that. And he played a Knife Juggler, and like, normally I wouldn't have minded, but I'd seen this nerf, and I was looking at that going, I'm either going to use an abusive, or I use like an overload spell that kind of like boosts the power, or I use a general spell for the Mana Worm to boost it. And like, if this was a week's time, I would now kill your Knife Juggler for free and still have my 1-drop and have the benefit of whatever spell I played or whatever I had. But I don't, I lose my 1-drop. And that is so much bigger than you'd realise, especially in those aggro decks. But like, I mean, that's a big point, the fact that this will then trade off. And just being 2/2, like things like wolves, like the spirit wolves for the shaman, or things like the guy that Max is like bigging up for being the next big thing, the 2-drops of the 2/3 that does the 1 random damage. I forget what he's called.
Oh, Flame Juggler.
Yeah,
the
Flame
next
Juggler.
big thing. Oh, right.
Now you played the Knife Juggler down, you're kind of like, oh, that guy. I can't kill that guy. What do? Do I go face for 2 damage? Or do I try and ping, but then I trade myself in? It's basically, if you're playing this early, you're kind of getting it. He's going to trade in, because you can't just do the ping and then trade in. I don't know how to explain this.
No, I get what you're saying, but the other point is, like, most of the time, if you're playing him early, it's because you absolutely have to. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You never want to play him on turn 2, because you pretty much know he's, like, most of the time going to get removed. Like, you're only playing him because you drew a terrible hand otherwise. And outside of that, the effect is still, like, really broken.
No, but this is the thing. I think they like Knife Juggler. I think actually people do like Knife Juggler. He does a fun thing, and you're right. But it does cost a lot of mana. Even things that are like, say, quote unquote broken with it, which would be Knife Juggler plus Muster for Battle, or Knife Juggler plus Implosion, still cost 2 cards and a hell of a lot of mana. Now
there are also 2 cards that are both leaving the standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, carry on.
And that's a Haunted Creeper is another one that's leaving, which is also obviously very good with it. They're both leaving, but it's not like Monica said. Like, I understand the point you made. Like, Knife Juggler is never in the deck because it's doing 3 damage to face. It will always do 3 damage to face because you don't want to trade it off, because it does so much damage by itself, and you know you want to leave them to deal with it. But this is the point, like, they're going to have to deal with it. When you play this, they have to deal with it. And, like, you know, a lot of times, you're going to Frostbolt it, you're going to Lightning Bolt, you're going to do it, but a lot of times you don't have that. Sometimes all you have is that 3/3 you played on 3. Now that 3/3 plays into this, and you still have a 3/1, which doesn't sound big, but if this is an aggro deck you're playing against, leaving that 3/1 then trades in for another card, and you start clawing your way back into it. I think it's a bigger nerf than you realise. I understand what you mean, but I don't think they don't want this card to be played, because I think it does such a cool thing, and it's like really iconic, and it's a good card.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not anti-Knife Juggler. I'm just taking on board how anti-Knife Juggler, like, a lot of other people are, I guess, like streamers and things.
Yeah, but this
never
card...
really had a problem with this card. I think it. Yes, it was.
Yeah, this card
it never
isn't
annoyed
leaving.
me, basically.
the card isn't leaving. It's not going anywhere. And this nerf is an intent. This is why I said it's the perfect nerf at the start. At the start of this whole conversation, I said I think this is a perfect nerf. And the reason is because it is still playable. Like, that just shows how overpowered it was before. You can still play this card. It still does cool things. But the upside is when you trade, if you're playing against this card, and the only way you can kill it is by trading one of your minions into it, that one less attack is huge.
Yeah.
It is massive. And that is so good. The card is still good. But still, when you're playing against it, it just means your minion that you use to kill it takes one less damage, and that's really good.
Yeah,
really
it's not
good.
the face damage, it's like the minion that trades into it might not die.
Yeah.
That's the big deal.
Exactly. So let's leave it at that. Move ourselves on to the Leper Gnome, everybody's favourite feeling icky little guy, who is normally 1 mana 2/1 Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero, is now a 1 mana 1/1 Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero.
Balanced.
Yeah. Balance. Exactly.
Basically. It was stupid before.
It's still guaranteed to do 2 damage.
Yeah.
You're still like in an aggro deck, you're playing 1 mana, you're getting 2 damage. Guaranteed. It won't trade with a 2-drop. It won't do 2 damage every single turn forever if you don't deal with it.
Yeah. Does it still get played?
Quite possibly.
In a very burny aggro deck, like Hunter. Definitely.
Do you prefer Worgen over him, the 1 mana 2/1 with stealth?
Yeah, they're both 2 guaranteed damage.
But it is better in the sense that it's 2 guaranteed damage and it will trade with a 2-drop. They're Worgen.
Yeah, but then this will avoid taunts to do its damage.
True. But this is the whole point. These are the kind of arguments and these are the kind of breaking points that you should have.
Yeah. And if there's more card draw in Hunter,
it doesn't do it there, but then it avoids taunts, blah blah blah. They're the point. That's what you should have, not just like it does 2 damage. If you can't do it, then play your knife juggler. I'm going to kill it. Boom.
And if you end up with more card draw in Hunter for some reason, then like you might want Worgen plus this. So
yeah,
kind of evenish.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think we're pretty happy with Leper Gnome. Makes sense, like you guys said, balanced. Let's move ourselves on to Molten Giant. Previously, he was a 20 mana card, 20 mana 8/8, and his text read, cost 1 less for each damage your hero has taken. He is now a 25 mana 8/8 and still says cost 1 less for each damage your hero has taken. Which means at 10 life, you now have to spend 5 mana on this guy.
I think this is really good, and I think this ties into the game Hunter nerf. The thing that, have you got your button ready? The thing that Brian Kibler's always said.
I don't have the button ready. Let me just click on a few things and keep talking, and then I can go. Of the week. All right.
He always talked about the fact that he reckoned that BGH was in the game due to the Giants.
Yes.
And really, I was thinking about this when I saw this nerf, and when I actually really thought about it, I thought this is the only giant that you play for nothing ever. You play a mountain giant normally at 4. The best you're going to get at is 3. Realistically. And I've been playing a lot of sea giants recently because I've been playing a lot of flood decks, and I've been thinking, what do I normally play that for? I normally try and get that out for somewhere, there's turns where it's I'm already set up and I can play out a couple of my own minions and get it out for 1 or 2, but I'm kind of going, I want to get that out at 4 and 5. That's quite nice. When I get that 8 out of 4 or 5 mana, that I'm feeling pretty good about that. So, which is about the same that you're looking at the Mountain Giant. The problem with the Molten Giant is because you're sitting in this deck where you're going, burn me down. Boosh, 0 mana, taunt it up. You now have to, then you talk about the old Warlock decks where you're sitting there and you used to have to be brave. You used to be I can tap again. I can tap again. It'll be okay. It'll be cool. Don't worry. It'll be cool. We're not gonna die. But you're skirting so much closer to the line to gain the mana to like play these things for free. Like still playing this for 5 mana when you're at 10 health. That's like, you know, you're like, oh, this is some risky crap that we've got going on here. This is scary. You're really gonna have to think about it. And I think that's what they want. They want them to be getting played out for about 4 or 5 mana. They want them to be cheap 8/8s with a obvious penalty, but they want that penalty. Like that's the point you're going to play it. You go, I can't wait any longer. I need to put my 8/8 down, or I'm going to lose the game. And that point is when I'm at about 4 or 5 mana.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Makes sense. Joe, you got anything to add?
Yeah, and it stops all sort of weird combo shenanigans with this card, I guess. There's always been weird decks that this has ended up in. I mean, that kind of sucks, but I guess they didn't want Handlock as well to still be super OP in the new format.
I mean, you can still
be, really.
Any card that could that easily, I say that easily, but like that easily get to be a 0 mana card. Like we're talking about Hunter's Nerf being a problem because it could be a 0 mana card. Getting down to 10 health, you're okay. Getting down to 5 health, you're like, oh, that is a really fine line you are treading to play this for 0. And it was always like playing this for 0 is always the problem. Because you play these out for 0 and you echo Medivh, or you like do some handlock stuff like with Mal'Ganis and stuff like that. It's playing anything for 0 isn't really healthy for the game. And I think there's like the risk, like playing an 8/8 for 0, you should be like really on the edge. You're like, yeah, we're at 5 health. Like we're really playing that. I think that's how they felt.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move ourselves on to the final nerf. It's another rogue card. This one is a rogue minion, Master of Disguise, 4 mana, 4/4. Used to say battle cry, give a friendly minion stealth. It now says battle cry, give a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. Now this isn't obviously design space nerf. This is like we couldn't have some cool minions because rogue would just play them and stealth them, and then you'd never be able to kill them, and that's just not fun for anyone.
Yeah, this is one of those cards everyone's like, that card? What did it say before? I can't remember because I've never played it.
Yeah. Although, like, you know, Thaurissan, like nobody ever like played this with Thaurissan, did they? I'm sure some people did, but do you know, like, Thaurissan does
only
a cool
because
thing.
it didn't fit into like you couldn't fit. What were you doing? Make your backstabs cheaper. Like it was like, what are you doing with Rogue to make it cheaper? I think you couldn't. The point with Rogue is that wouldn't work because you want to draw all your cards, get to turn 9, and make everything cheaper. And it's like, but drawing all your cards already costs 7. And, you know, it depends on the class, basically. Like, Mage could do it.
Yeah.
If you gave it to Mage, they could do it. But they obviously knew that at some point, if they gave... Basically, we can't give Rogue any card draw early on, because if they get some card draw early on, then they get to do this, and then that happens, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, this nerf makes sense. It's a card that never saw play anyway, so...
Exactly. So, like, no one can win.
Who cares? Right, that is done. We are done with the nerfs. We've got about... I think we've got about half an hour left. We could run for another half an hour. We'll run through some of the new cards, and then, of course, we will run through the remaining cards on Monday night, as we said at the top of the show. We'll just go straight into talking about cards. None of that, what have you been playing this week, because it only would have been a couple of days. We'll just go straight through the cards. But let's see what we can get done now, and then we'll get to it.
So many good cards, though.
So much. All right, so we're going to start at the top of what's on the show notes, and then we'll move on to the other
these ones
stuff.
are boring.
I want to talk about the one that I always... Oh, right, fine. Let Max choose a card.
Well, these are the ones that I put on the show notes earlier on in the week, so you guys are going to talk about them because I put in the work. All right, well, the first one's kind of cool. He's a mage common minion, Twilight Flamecaller, 3 mana, 2/2, battle cry, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. He seems quite cool.
Arcane Explosion plus a 2/2.
Yeah, which doesn't add up because... I mean, it does add up in the sense that Arcane Explosion is 1 mana and you get a 2/2 for 3 mana, but it's like getting 2/2 for 3 mana with the Arcane Explosion effect doesn't add up to being...
You feel like it should be a 3/2 or a 2/3.
2/3, exactly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you think?
No way. This is one card.
Maybe. I mean, that is true. 2/2s are just poor.
It's like Knife Juggler.
I could be playing Knife Juggler for 1 mana less.
Yeah, but Knife Juggler is going to do 1 damage to everything.
Yeah, but it depends. I suppose it depends, like, exactly what you're expecting. Like, because, like, doing 1 damage to everything often does, I don't want to say nothing, but, like, next to nothing.
What about all those...
Unless you're killing something 1 mana, it then is like, you go, oh, they've got a 2/2, I'm going to do this, and then it still trades into this card. You go, oh, that probably sucked for me a little bit. I don't know. It's not.
You're the one that's loving the cards that make a board full of 1/1s for you. This at least deals with those.
Oh yeah, that is very true. I'm not saying it doesn't have a place. Okay, you're playing this over Fan of Knives. It's like, what would you rather, draw 1 card or 2/2? I want to draw 1 card, obviously.
I put both of them in my deck.
Really? No.
Yeah, well, you can't, because one's a rogue card and one's a mage card, so you're both bonkers crazy. But, I don't know, I think it totally depends what the meta's like. I think this is a very meta-dependent card. Like, this is great at removing divine shields or anything like that. Like, doing one damage to your entire enemy board. This doesn't do 1 damage to your board as well. Wild Pyromancer has a lot of uses. Now, obviously, you can combo it with multiple spells to do multiple damage, but that's going to kill your Pyromancer.
Look, I don't want to like do it like this does nothing. This does do something that is pretty cool. I suppose I'm thinking in a world of like, there's 2 decks of mage now. There's Tempo Mage and there's Freeze Mage. And as it stands, this doesn't fit into either.
No, this probably doesn't go to either.
Because it's like, that's not good enough tempo with that body. And it doesn't do anything in Freeze Mage. So
it has a body. Freeze Mage doesn't care.
Yeah. It's like, why is there something on my side of the board?
Don't worry, guys. You'll never get any body shaming from Freeze Mage. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Well, she doesn't care. Jaina.
He just roboted into the mists.
Oh, dear. Don't worry. That won't come through on the podcast because I record it locally at my end. So don't you worry about that. All right. So let's move ourselves on to the next card. Shifting Shade. This is a priest minion. Rarity. Always sounds weird to say rarity. He's 4 mana, 4/3. Death Rattle. Copy a card from your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. And Martin, if you're thinking we already spoke about this card, that's because we did it on Top Deck Kings. We didn't do it on the Unstable Portal.
What did I say there? I want to be consistent. I can't remember.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll pause the podcast. You can go and listen, and you can repeat everything that you said again. I'll tell you what, let's go to Joe first. Joe, how do you feel about this card?
So it's a Yeti -2 health, but a really good death rattle. It seems good for 4 mana.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what I said on Top Deck Kings is, if Thoughtsteal's a good card, this is a good card, because you're getting a body. You're getting 1 card less, and it's costing 1 more mana, but you're getting the first part of a piloted shredder. In fact, Martin, you might have even made the shredder comparison, I think.
And the reason Thoughtsteal's good, and the reason this is good, is because it's from your opponent's deck rather than from their class, which means it's generally going to be a good card, because you hope your opponent doesn't put terrible cards in their deck.
Unless they're playing around Thoughtsteal and intentionally putting bad cards into their deck. The evil opponent.
This is really cool. Really cool, like, 2 of these and 2 Thoughtsteals, and like just giving Priest more of that kind of fun.
I'm going to steal your stuff.
Good value.
Yeah.
It's good.
I think this is a cool
card. What did you guys say on...
pretty much the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I said, now that you mention it, I'm pretty sure that I did say this is like piloted shredder, but balanced. In the sense that you get a card and it's death rattled, but it goes into your hand, so you're kind of getting something for the 4/3 body. Yeah, I mean, it's whether it works in Priest. I mean, it is slow, and Priest does like a good slow minion, and no one's ever going to silence it against a Priest. And like Joe said, the most prevalent thing is the fact that you're getting a card from your opponent's deck, so you kind of guarantee it's good. that works better in a control deck or mid-range deck. Like you pick up their Leponome and you're like, not so useful. But it still kind of is, because you still get to like get some tempo putting out a one-man dude that's going to kill one of their dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a good card. I think it'll be interesting. We'll see if it sees some play. We've only got a week to go. So we will see rather soon. Okay, the next card on our list is another mage minion. This one is rare. 4 mana, 2/4. After you cast a spell, freeze a random enemy character. So one thing I learned about this today is that it will always target an unfrozen enemy.
One thing I'd say about this as well, like to call off of the show notes, is we should also mention the mage spell Shatter that has come in. The 2 mana spell Shatter, destroy a frozen minion. Because that...
Okay, that makes this card a lot better.
Yeah. So you could have a 2-card combo where you play this card, a 4 mana 2/4, and a 2 mana card. If they've only played Ragnaros or whatever on the board, it will kill it. Now, I still don't necessarily think you're going to run that combo, because...
Wait. After you cast a spell, freeze a random enemy character, you can freeze face.
Okay, that makes it worse. If I forget it, no, that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about this on the Top Deck Kings as well, and I think the big problem we had with it is it feels like it's 1 mana too expensive. It's a 4 mana 2/4. When there is a similar effect, everybody's favorite Flame Waker is a 3 mana 2/4 that does 2 random damage when you cast a spell. And
not that, you got a 4 mana 3/6.
Yeah, you got Frost Elemental, yeah. I feel this is just a little bit too expensive. Is freezing something really that powerful? I mean, targeted freeze. There is a neutral minion with targeted freeze, which is is he 5 or 6 mana? What's the Frost Elemental? Even if he's 6 mana, he's a 6 mana 5/5. Where you get to target freeze something. Yeah, he's a really good arena card. But that is a card where you get to choose what you freeze, and that's understated down to a 5/5. Which is sort of 1 mana.
A random thing, yeah.
It seems a bit weird. The stats on it just
weird
seem a bit weird.
because you almost don't. The thing is, though, the guy you most want to freeze is Thrall and Garrosh and Uther. It's the classes and Jaina,
the classes with weapons,
Jaina, whatever her name is. The classes that have weapons, they're the ones you want to freeze, because you shut out a large part of their deck when you freeze them. Like, remember, you used to play Warrior and someone have the freeze bot guy, Snow Chugger.
Yeah, Snow Chugger.
And it's like if that guy hits me in the face, it's like I'm never killing that guy.
Oh, in fact, one of my favorite.
That's me done.
One of my favourite brawls was the one where they gave everybody, like, they gave all this like stuff that buffed weapons, and it was all to do with weapons. And so everyone in there, they were playing Rogue, they were playing Warrior, they were playing Paladin, and I went in there and I played Freeze Mage.
Yeah.
And I just put every single minion and every single possible freeze effect that could target face in my deck, whether it was minions or spells or whatever, and I just won every single game because I just had so much stuff that eventually I was going to lock them down and freeze them, and their entire decks were built around doing damage with their weapons, and I just ruined everybody's fun all day long, and I had loads of fun.
I hope you feel proud of yourself.
I was very proud of myself. But yeah,
I'm surprised that some of the freeze mage stuff wasn't nerfed a bit, actually.
Oh, you think?
Stop hating on freeze mage.
No, I love freeze mage.
Oh, good.
I'm just surprised after I'm trying to redirect Blizzard to stop nerfing Rogue every single expansion.
Yeah, Rogue, that overplayed class. Nerf it a bit more.
Yeah, definitely he's nerfing. All right, let's move on from our demented Frostcaller. We think he's a little bit understated, probably not going to see play. Let's move on to our Hunter minion, Forlorn Stalker. He's also rare. 3 mana, 4/2, Battle Cry. Give all Death Rattle minions in your hand +1/+1. So if Death Rattle Hunter is a thing, this is a great card, right?
Yeah, and I think they've kind of designed this card well because you have like the Feign Death card and stuff like that.
Feign Death is leaving. But
I was going to say, is it leaving? Okay, well, now it's leaving. Now I don't understand. If you want to make something around it, if you had Feign Death still in it,
I think it's a
suppose
GVG card. Let me just double check.
Are you balancing around Wild? I don't know. Like maybe you're putting these cards in that you could use in Wild. We can talk about it for the sake of Wild. It's like if you want to make this Death Rattle Hunter thing a thing, then it's fine. You make this Death Rattle Hunter deck happen, and you're giving them bonuses all over the place, but you're giving it a kind of crappy body. That's fine, because it's going to work in a almost combo decky kind of way. Like exactly what death rattles you use and exactly which ones you have, but that's how it's going to work. So I like giving it a 4-2. You don't want to give it a solid body because it's a combo-y kind of card.
Yeah, by the way, I just checked. If, we are losing Feign Death. But yeah, Joe, any thoughts?
Oh, also, the next... Maybe you should actually mention the next card, like, going into it. Like, up to you.
Yeah, Hunter looks like it's getting a death rattly kind of team as well as Rogue, I guess. Yeah, it seems fine. I don't think it's super strong. Buffing stuff in your hand as opposed to giving stuff on the board an immediate buff, which you can use.
Yeah, that is true. It's like, what's that Shaman legendary that gives everything in your entire like deck and hand +1/+1? I mean, that's quite a powerful thing, and that doesn't see play. But I suppose that doesn't see play because it's too slow for Shaman at the moment. But
yeah, it's too much mana. This is 3 mana. It could see play at 3 mana.
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
can have
3
two
mana.
of these in your deck and play both of them, and then play them with Bran.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah, Brand's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think most of the
Wow, can you imagine playing a 3/4 Haunted Creeper and you're like, did that?
that would be insane. Okay, so the card that Martin was saying that maybe I should mention is the Hunter Legendary from the set. And that is Princess Huhuran, everybody's favourite weird insect thing from the Temple of Ankarai in classic World of Warcraft. She is a 5 mana 6/5 beast. Battle cry, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle effect. So essentially this is Feign Death. What Feign Death does is it triggers all your minions' death rattle effects that are on board. This is obviously a targeted one that you can just trigger whenever you want. Seems pretty good. 5 mana, 6/5. Body's alright. And trigger a death rattle effect. If you're playing a death rattle hunter, this goes in, right?
Well,
yeah, it's really good.
It's just like the combo, the whole the combo deck to do with Lepinomes. But does that make it that like broken?
What, you mean like the one that Rogue has with like Shadow Step and Raptors and
it's
stuff?
Rogue. So no, it doesn't cross over. I was thinking for some reason it's Hunter. Yeah,
This is just good value legendary with good stats already, even if you don't. I mean, it's like it's the same as a high main, 5 mana 6/5 without the high main's death rattle, but you can activate a high main death rattle.
If you had imagine you have a high main down.
Oh no, wait, high main is 6 mana, isn't it?
Yeah, high main is 6 mana.
This is 5 mana for a 6/5.
But yeah, you could activate a high main's death rattle, or you could activate anything's death rattle. So you've already got value. The stats are already value. So
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, the death rattle is gravy on top of it.
Yeah. I think it's a good card, and I think hopefully Death Rattle Hunter is going to be a thing, and this thing will see play. It will be cool. Right, we'll move ourselves on to a Druid common minion. He is called Dark Arakoa, 6 mana 5/7 with Taunt, Battle Cry, give your Kethun, whatever, +3/+3 wherever it is. So this goes in.
This is playable almost on its own.
You think?
In a Sea Thun deck, obviously it's like going in, but like a 6 mana 5/7 Taunt, like you losing Belcher and stuff like that, you need a higher value. I'm not saying this is the guy, but this eats most big things. Most big things have like 5 health. This eats them all.
It does, but as Joe has pointed out before, that Belcher was the upper limit mana-wise of what you really want in a solid taunt. Like 6 mana is too late a lot of the time.
Yeah, quite possibly, and like quite possibly you won't want it, but I'd still say it's in the conversation, and it's like an auto-include in a CT Hun deck.
Yeah, probably. And it's giving it +3/+3, which is good. Combo with Bran, it's amazing.
Oh my god. Oh my god, man, I hadn't even thought of that. Oh my god.
But yeah, anyway, as we've said before, like we don't think Cthulhu decks are super interesting because they just seem to be doing one thing.
Joe's got a different opinion now that Priests have got them.
Well, after watching that stream today...
I didn't... Well, did they play a Cthulhu deck?
Wait, yes, they did.
Oh, I missed that bit. What
they
happened?
played a couple of them, and it looked pretty fun, actually.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
Like,
I mean, you kind of have to go over some of the other cards, but for example, there was a... Well, which one's Cthulhu? Cthulhu's just the one, that gets plus health and plus damage, and also when you play it, it deals that amount of damage.
Yeah, this is the Avenging Wrath type thing.
Yeah. So there's a rogue card, for example, that when you
scrolling frantically to rogue,
it destroys an enemy minion and gives the whatever health and attack that minion had to your Cthulhu.
Okay, I've got the card.
Like, shadow step it, and then do that again, and then your Cthulhu just gets ridiculous.
Oh my god.
That is pretty crazy. Let me just read that card out. He's the Blade of Cthulhu. It is a 9-mana 4/4 battle cry. Destroy a minion. Add its attack and health to Cthulhu wherever he is or it is.
Like, you can play it on your opponent's Cthulhu, who just had a massive Cthulhu and cleared your board, and then end up with like a 60 damage Cthulhu yourself on turn 10.
That is if the meta goes super control, that guy is like, yeah, I'll win, mate.
I mean, it's really hard to tell because the problem is on the stream, for example, they're both playing Cthulhu decks.
Yeah, he said.
And, it looked really fun and they were both doing crazy stuff. But you couldn't really tell the strength of the deck, meaning, like, if somebody just played a normal deck, would it just wreck it? And then it obviously wouldn't be fun anymore.
Yeah, or is it stupidly overpowered?
Face Hunter's pretty good against 9-mana 4/4s. Who knew?
That's the only issue. But if they do work, it did look very fun.
Yeah, it's good having them. Yeah, it's certainly fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, we shall see. We haven't got long.
Many cards
we haven't got long. All right, let's move ourselves on to Shifter Xeris.
Shifter Xeris? Yeah.
Shifter Xeris? Am I saying that right?
Shifter.
He's a cute-looking tentacle guy. He's a legendary minion. Sorry, neutral legendary minion. 1-mana 1/1. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random minion. Okay. This is a pretty funky card. This transforms mana cost as well, right?
Yeah. The way I someone say about this is that it's a balanced unstable portal. That it's this kind of weird fun card where it does that thing. Apart from it's not cheaper.
I wouldn't say it's balanced.
Okay, balanced is the wrong... yeah, balanced is the wrong word.
It's unstable portal.
Yeah, it's incredibly unbalanced because if it's not 1 mana, is it 1 mana? Has anyone verified that?
No, it's not. It's whatever the value.
No, it's whatever the value of the card is.
It's like, oh, I turn into Ragnaros. You go, oh, I really wanted a Ragnaros. Well, then fucking put one in your fucking deck, then, dickhead.
Yeah, and also, oh shit, I'm on 7 mana, and he's not going to be Ragnaros next turn. Next turn, he's going to be like a captain's parrot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it is incredibly fun, but it's incredibly poor like that.
Yeah, and just in case anyone doesn't know, when you draw him, he will be Shifter Xeris. He'll be a 1-mana 1/1. It won't be until the start of your next turn that he'll start shifting.
And if you use one of those cards that pulls him from your deck, he will be a 1-mana 1/1.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously we're losing Deathlord, but Deathlord would pull him out as a 1-mana.
So he's a lovely amount of dust if you open him up. This is the one that I guarantee you, I don't want to be that guy, but when you see that orange card floating there, it's this guy.
Hey,
sorry that happened.
He's going straight into my Casino Mage deck, or I've forgotten who I was talking to earlier this week. They reckon Casino Rogue is going to be a thing. I think it was Edge. If it wasn't and it was somebody else, I do apologise. But yeah, I think it's talking about Casino Rogue. Casino Rogue sounds like it could be kind of fun as well. Rogue's getting a lot of cool randomy stuff going on. So we could do Casino Rogue versus Casino Mage, and they could both have Shifter Xeris in them. Could do. All right, let's move ourselves onwards and upwards.
I thought we were stopping there. Oh,
okay. Are we doing the lore now?
No, the lore may not even return next week actually, but the week after it should do. Anyway, well, let's move ourselves on to the Druid Legendary. He is... You'll have to change show notes, Joe. You'll have to click the link in the show notes.
There's so many cards I want to talk about in that link.
You have to get the
How can you pick
Hearthstone.
that one?
It's the first one. Actually, I want to talk about this one.
okay,
It
it's
is
'cause
a
it's the
pretty cool
first one.
card.
Okay, so he is the Fandral Staghelm. God. 4 mana, 3/5. Your choose one cards have both effects combined. Holy crap. That's the first time I've read that. It took me a while to process it.
I had to read that twice when I was
What?
okay, I had to read that again. What? So all the cards that are choose one, so you're talking your Keep All the Groves and that kind of thing, things where it's like choose this or choose that, they do both of the things. You don't have to choose one, they will do both of the things. Which is like a really cool card. Like this is like a 4 mana 3/5, and that's a really cool effect. 4 mana 3/5 is slightly behind the curve, but I wonder like it does something pretty good. Imagine, I don't know how does that work when it's like choose one, have a 4/4 with charge or a 4/6 with taunt. What does it become? A 4/6 with taunt and charge? That's awesome.
That would be pretty
And
crazy.
this only costs 4 as well, so it's not like you'll have used up all those cards.
Yeah, and it's
play
also
this late game legendary or something.
it's not like you couldn't combo it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool card. It's like Bran for Druid.
Yeah, it does something like super cool. It is like I don't even know if it's going to be good. I'd have to look at all the choose one cards, like because there's so many of them that are like kind of buff ones as well.
Yeah,
Like, you think about those buff ones. Choose what are the ones that choose whatever with taunt or whatever with charge, like
or Power of the Wild. Choose one. Summon a 3/2 Panther, or give all of your stuff +1/+1. You get the Panther, and then probably give it +1/+1 as well, and give everything else on your board +1/+1.
That's the one thing I'd ask on this. I'd have to check on Twitter. These are so new. Haven't had a chance to look through all those kind of things. Is like, is it? I would imagine that the way that they are done is the order that they're written on the card. Because do you have to choose one of these things to happen first? Because of like the example that you gave, some of them are summon a minion and then give everything +1/+1. Which one happens
it's combined,
first?
though. Isn't it? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
you do have to
what is
choose
the combination
something to
of
happen
summoning a
first.
3/2 and giving everything +1/+1? But which one happens first? Is it I give everyone? It's just slightly odd. That's all I'm saying. Like just for clarification's sake.
Yeah, but this is a cool card. I think it's going to be fun. And we'll see whether or not it sees play. Hopefully it will. It is definitely interesting. Let's move ourselves on to a epic minion. So this one's going to be weird. I haven't read this one yet either. Is the Forbidden Ancient. 1 mana 1/1 battle cry. Spend all of your mana. Gain +1/+1 for each mana spent. So if you spend this at 10 mana, you'll have an 11/11 minion.
This is your forbidden card, basically.
Oh, it's a Forbidden Ancient. Oh, okay.
It's basically their like massive rampy. It's their forbidden card.
So it's their forbidden card. But this is the first forbidden card that is kind of slightly above curve. See, all the other ones, like, so all the other ones, they spend that amount of mana and they do that amount of damage, or they spend that amount of mana, they do that amount of healing.
This is the biggest set of 10/10 the way I read it.
No, this already has 1/1. If it gains +1/+1 for each mana spent.
but you've spent 1 mana to summon the 1/1.
okay.
The battle cries then spend the rest of your mana, which will be 9.
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, it is in line with the rest of them.
It's a 2/2 for 2, 3/3 for 3, 4/4 for 4, 5/5. There are a number of breaking points where it's better. Like a 2/2 for 2 is not good. A 4/4 for 4 is fine. 5/5 for 5 is actually pretty good. 7/7 for 7 is okay. 8/8 for 8, yeah, again 9/9. I mean, it's not amazing. At no point is it amazing along the curve, and there's some points where it's below it, but it's kind of like all these forbidden cards sitting on curve-ish.
Because this is the first one where the flexibility to me actually seems like it could be worth it.
Yeah, you're always going to have a minion that will kind of be pretty much
fill out your curve. You can just fill out your turn, like, and I think that is a lot more valuable when it's a minion.
It gives you a massive amount of flexibility. You can put this in, and you're like, I haven't got enough 2-drops. You go, well, this is a 2-drop. You go, oh yeah, but like I haven't got enough 8-drops. So you go, well, this is an 8-drop. You have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, it's like the others, just very flexible. But,
how does Innovate work? How does Innovate work?
Is it silenceable? I guess.
Does it Innovate give you the mana? How would that work? Does it give you the mana crystals?
If you use Innovate when you have 10 mana, it burns. It doesn't do anything.
No, but I mean, you on one mana, it says give you 2 mana crystals. So you could Innovate this out and it'd be a 3/3.
Yeah.
Or yeah, how it works, yeah.
Yeah. That is how I would see it working, for sure. Yeah, that's true. It's got some synergy with Innovate. That's pretty cool. All right, let's move ourselves on to... I think we'll just do the Druid cards, and then we'll leave it until Monday when you're going to get the rest of our opinions on the remaining cards. So, the next Druid card is Addled Grizzly. He is a rare minion, 3 mana, 2/2 beast. After you summon a minion, give it +1/+1. It's like Druid Hobgoblin. Kind of. Not quite as good.
I don't know, like you say, no. I mean, it isn't quite as good, but like it's got no.
I suppose Hobgoblin have to have one attack.
Yeah, exactly. This is like give everything 1/1. That's pretty nice. This only has to give one other thing 1/1 for it to be worthwhile.
Okay, so it's like
that essentially
shattered...
makes it. Because that essentially makes it gives you 3/3 worth of stat for 3.
Yeah.
You only have to have one other thing you play at the same time. Now, obviously, like you don't want to play this thing on curve, but every time you play it after curve, it's like you've got to kill this thing.
Yeah, it does only have 2 health, so they should be able to find a way to kill it. So you probably want to combo it with multiple things if you can.
I mean, how crazy is this?
Force of Nature, don't you?
And it is, combo with Force of Nature. It is summon a minion. It's not play from your hand. So anything like Ooze or I suppose Ooze would always.
Is how that works? I always forget how that works.
Yeah, so yeah, like Joe said, Force of Nature combo with really well. 8
all
mana.
I'm saying is that Egg Druid in Wild might get this one as well.
Yeah,
that's the kind of deck it wants. It's like just what if you play? What's the 1 mana card where you summon 2 1/1s?
Oh yeah, oh god, why can't I remember what this card is called? I should know. It gets played all the time.
Like, things like that is like, if that works with it, then like you're basically 5 mana 2 cards 3/2/2. It's just not great, but I mean that this has a lasting
4 mana
effect unless it can be removed.
It's 4 mana 3/2/2. So admittedly it's 2 cards, but that's 1 less mana than what Force of Nature now does.
Yeah, it's 2 cards, which is a big thing. But then it has the upside, like I said, that this is still there doing that if they can't remove it. If this sticks around, then it's like Hobgoblin. It's like, that's just giving you so much value.
It just snowballs. Yeah, and
it's a beast as well. It goes into all this beast stuff. If you have I can't even remember all the beast relative Druid cards because they don't get played enough. It's like the one like where you give another beast plus X amount of health.
Yeah, I think they do have a card that does that.
There's +3 health. There's a card that I'm sure that gives +3 health. I don't know how much mana it is. I don't know what the card is, but like if you played that with this. That card, you play this first, then you play that card, give this a 2, make it into a 2/5, and the other one will get +1/+1. And you're like, oh, we're laughing.
All the way to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe, anything else to add?
No.
Cool. All right, we're going to move ourselves on to Feral Rage.
It's not facey enough.
It doesn't have charge.
Not enough charge.
I think we're getting reading over the other cards because there's a few I didn't see on the stream. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I there's quite a few that I didn't see on the stream, and I can't wait to look through all of these. I could actually form some proper opinions before we do our show on Monday. Right, so the final card we're going to talk about today is Feral Rage. It's a bit of a boring one, sadly. It is a common spell, 3 mana. Choose 1, give your hero +4 attack this turn, or gain 8 armor.
That's pretty good with that legendary.
Oh, what? The choose 1?
Yeah, get both of them.
3 mana, get floor attack, and gain 8 armor. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't think this will see constructed play. Possibly would be a good pickup in Arena.
The problem is that like they don't have the synergy with armor the way that Warrior does. Like if this was like a Warrior type card, then you would do obviously because like the armor synergy. Because they don't, it's like 3 mana like for 4 attack. I mean, like it's kind of not awful, and the flexibility is nice. And if there is a kind of like choose 1 kind of deck, maybe it makes it in. I mean, even then, I still kind of like it is a lot. It's the flexibility is nice. 4 attack and 3 mana is basically like 3 mana kill something, even if it's a 3/4 kill it. And if it's not, it's like gain 8 armor because I need 8 armor.
Yeah, but druids have cards like this already, don't they? They're a very similar card.
I think it's kind of that. You know what it is? It's like they're getting more like 4 mana, 3 mana, 3/4s, 4 healths on 3 manas, and like things like flame cannon, whatever. This is just like another option for like dealing with that kind of thing if they want to move into that kind of territory. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
They have swipe.
There is a card that like gives 4 attack and 4 armor, I think, but I think it costs 4 mana. I'm not sure.
It was like 2 or something.
The warrior one is 2 mana. The warrior one that's gained 4 attack this turn is 2 mana.
I kind of feel like druid has one that gains attack and armor, like it does both.
It's called the hero power.
Ew, he's so funny.
Hey.
But all right. Anyway, I'll look it up and I'll find out for Monday. I'm sure somebody that's listening is just yelling the name of the card at some random commuter on the train, and they're now looking at you in a really strange way. So don't do that.
Headbutt them.
Headbutt them. Tell them Martin Walters sent you.
Face Hunter. Do him.
Oh God. All right, I think that embarrassingly brings us to the end of the show. So thank you very much for listening. We will be back on Monday. And then after that, we will be back on Thursday. So you're going to be getting extra podcasts. So you are very lucky people.
Am I getting double pay this week then? I get double pay?
Yeah, I am paying you double nothing this week. You're doing very well.
Nice.
Yep. All right. So if you want to interact with us outside of the podcast, please do. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Totally Futile. Martin is at Dustus Wins, and Joe is at Marsh_Joe. You can find all the show notes on cynicalnerds.com/unstableportal, and you can find all that YouTube stuff that we were hyping up at the start of the show on youtube.com/c/cynicalnerds, or drop us an email at unstableportalshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and we will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Yo.
Bye.
Have you seen how many more cards we have to talk about?
Yeah.
I tell you what, have you seen this? Like, I wanted to go into it. Carrion Grub, 3 mana, 2/5, beast. Not shitting you, blew my mind.